Tourists pay big bucks to thrill themselves with shark cage diving around Stewart Island. But some of the locals, many of them, some say, want to put an end to that. They say cage diving puts swimmers and divers at risk of an attack. But shark scientist Riley Elliott says they're basing their arguments on fear and not scientific evidence. Riley joins me now. Riley, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Paul.
Before we talk about the Stewart Island thing, you love diving with sharks, don't you?
Yeah, it started as a bit of an adrenaline thing, something that was thrilling, but then it became worldwide a very good tool to actually stem the fear of sharks, see them for what they really are, and use it as an environmental conservational tool. Because, to be honest, a newspaper likes nothing better than putting a big shark on the front page. Yeah. And if you're swimming next to it without a cage, it's, eye appealing.
And those pictures always have sharks with mouths open and...
Yeah, so it's good to try to shift that light to, look, these are actually placid, cautious, and very amazing animals.
Yeah. And when I say you swim, you're almost addicted to it. You've described yourself as being almost addicted to swimming, not in cages, but swimming with sharks.
Every time it's mind-blowing. And my job in South Africa and what I'm trying to do around the world now is take other people in the water and teach them how to do it in a safe way. Because as soon as someone goes under the water, you see that instantaneous change that I once had for the first time. And
so you get a buzz from seeing that in other people?
Oh, that is the buzz, I find, more so even than just swimming with the sharks themselves.
So you're working in South Africa, which, and correct me if I'm wrong, which I'm sure you will, South Africa is the epicenter of shark attacks in the world.
Yeah.
How hard is it to convince people that actually, yes, it might be on the front page of the paper that another person's been killed by a shark, but actually they're very placid?
It's very difficult because, you can't think of a more gruesome way to go. And there's such an...
Seriously, I can't think of a more gruesome way to go.
Yeah, and I mean, all the stats, like the toast of the coconut, they kill you more, it doesn't matter. The point is that is a very fearful way to go. But it's more about the unknown factor of this animal. We are scared of what we don't understand or know, and you can't get more of that picture than a shark under the water. So, I mean, the shark cage diving and the ecotourism around sharks is a big tool for changing that fear of the unknown. Because you can actually go see this animal.
Is there any truth to the fear that some of the locals on Stewart Island have that if you encourage the sharks to come close, then the chances of some innocent person just going about their business in the water, nothing to do with cage diving, will be attacked by a shark?
Yeah, look, I definitely don't want to stem any emotional fear, anxiety people have about sharks. That is real, okay? But the issue down at Stewart Island is something that's been handled within Western Australia, South Australia, and South Africa. And the point is, I surf, I power dive. I wouldn't do it at Edwards Island myself because naturally, that is a congregation site that's been there for millions of years where these sharks naturally go. Now, if I said to you, Paul, would you like to go catch your power in a known natural congregation site of sharks, even if cage diving didn't exist there, you would sensibly, hopefully say no.
No, I probably would say no.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of other coastline around Stewart Island that's proven to have less shark densities. So that is one issue. But the major...
But already this, and I know you know your business and that, you're a shark scientist, for God's sake. But, I started off thinking, maybe sharks are okay when you were talking, and now I'm hating them again.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair enough. The thing is, when I was down there cage diving, it's dark, it's scary. Last thing, if I was a power diver, would want to pull up to a spot and there's a shark waiting at the side of my boat because it seems to be trained to come to boats for food. Fair enough call. If that is happening to power divers, look, we take things, from their opinion, but that is an issue of concern. The point being that cage diving can run, and it has run in places like South Africa, without increased risk to anyone in the public area. But it's about creating awareness and managing that industry, which DOC has done by putting permits and legislation.
Okay, so now you're an expert in this area. Can you assure the people of Stewart Island that cage diving managed well in the area will not increase the risk of shark attack to the Stewart Island residents at all?
I'm not God, I'm a scientist, and what a scientist does is bases on facts that have been scientifically and rigorously put in place. And in South Africa and South Australia, risk to swimmers has not gone up an iota, and it's a $100 million industry that's sustainable, creating awareness, education, stimulating the economy and the community,
for the economy,
and create shark awareness.
Just very quickly, Riley, talk me through how you feel when you are diving just with sharks and no cages involved. Talk me through the sort of euphoria that you feel.
To describe it so simply, I'm free diving, so I'm holding my breath. You forget that you are holding your breath because you're in such awe of these animals. It takes a lot of years of experience to learn how to then make sure you cover all your bases, because it is an apex predator and it deserves respect, but it's undescribable. You cannot understand it or feel it until you do it. Just like only a surfer knows the feeling, you know. It's fantastic.
I was getting out of a boat once in the Nile, and it was at the bottom of Murchison Falls, and, you know, there were crocs everywhere. And the boat had just come ashore, and there was this huge croc sitting just in the water where we were getting out. And I said to the guide who was with me, I said, oh, shoot, you know, we better watch that croc. And he said, you know what? I'll tell you this. Here's a tip. You don't have to worry about the croc you can see.
Yeah.
That isn't the croc that's going to get you.
Yeah.
Is that true of sharks?
That is exactly true of sharks. I describe them, they're eye contact based animals, like most of us are. Yeah. They're like dogs. If you've got a dog in the corner and you stop looking at him, he's probably going to get up to something. If you keep looking at him, he won't do anything.
Brilliant. Riley, thank you so much for joining us. Riley Elliott, shark scientist, we will definitely have you back if you're still around. 10 minutes away from 9.